Hello and welcome to SME TV. This is our news and views show. I'm your host, Angela Vithulkas. Today's segment is Spotlight on a Business Hero. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel to support us and all SMEs, and you can share, like, and comment. Joining me today is a very special friend, CEO and founder of Out There Branding. They say that business heroes aren't defined by how many cool gadgets their companies make. But in your case, that's exactly how you're defined, by how many cool promotional products you deliver to your customers, right?
That is correct, yes.
You're completely defined by how quickly you learn to adapt to bring in new product that your clients can brand and pass on to their customers.
That's probably a good description of it, yes.
All right, well, I'm good at describing, but now let's get to your story. So have you always been a marketer?
I've always been a sales and marketing person, yes.
All right. Do you think you always have to be in a sales and marketing background to do what you're doing? Has that helped or hindered you having that background?
Not really. I think it's, you don't really have to have a sales and marketing background. I think you just have to have the right mindset.
Okay. So often people talk about the mindset of leaders and what those organizations look like. But when you're a small business or a small to medium enterprise, you have to wear several hats all at once. How do you convince, is it the sales and marketer review that jumps in to convince clients, you know what, you should brand this, you know what, you could have this? I mean, at what point do you wait for Muhammad to come to the mountain or the mountain to go to Muhammad?
Okay, so the way I think about it and the way I look at it is that I don't think it's the sales and marketing background that gets you to that point. I think that what the point that I get to, the way you've described it, is I want to be able to assist companies to do something with their brands. So I become proactive in asking questions around it. And I suppose that's the mindset. It's how I approach it rather than I have a sales and marketing background.
Right. Just before COVID, let's go back to the end of February. We're all cruising along. Everything is normal, right? And then suddenly in the space of a fortnight, things weren't normal. Did that impact your business at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Was it a grinding halt, Roy?
Well, it didn't come to a grinding halt, but a lot of my orders just dried up completely. So no, it definitely impacted me.
So when you say orders, the ones that were in the pipeline or ones that were signed off and a deposit had been paid?
So, across the board, some of them were in the pipeline, some of them had been paid for, some of them had, were in production. There was a whole cross section of work across the board, and literally the tap was turned off.
And how confronting was that to experience that as a business person? Because there's no comparison, right? There's no other time in our business lives recently, in my living memory, where this has ever occurred.
No, you're absolutely right. It's the sort of the feeling you have is the bottom falls out of your world.
Yes. So it's confronting, right? You're cruising along one day, you think you're organized with your business, you've got a pipeline coming in, people have signed up for orders, it's all fine, you've ordered it might have been overseas or local. One day you've got a business, one day you don't. How has that made you pivot right now? And we'll get to how you're going to come out of this, because the road to recovery is a whole series in itself. But how did you pivot?
Okay, so first of all, the one fortunate thing that I do have in my favor is I have a cross section of a customer base from different sectors. So whilst the majority of my existing customers don't have business at this particular time or don't have any requirements for a lot of the things that I do, there were some that did. So immediately, this is just the way I am, and it's the way I've always been, is that when I think about an obstacle or a challenge, I always think, well, one person sees it as an obstacle and a challenge, and another sees it as an opportunity. I got to thinking to myself, well, look, I can either fall over and play dead, or I can find a way. and think of ways, what can I do that will be able to make a difference? And that's really
you came up with an idea, but what I want to preempt this and sort of build the foundation here first is that you found a way to pivot to find another product, if you will, outside of your regular business. But I'm sure, and I'm going to grill you on this, you used your skills in what you already do with out there branding to apply to this new product. But it's also how this new product comes to market. It's the people that you involve along the way. And that's why for us, you fit the business hero category, because you didn't just pivot, you thought about helping other people in the process. So tell us about that journey of pivoting, but how you've also brought in a community to help here.
Okay, so that for me was probably the most heartwarming part of this whole process. Is that one of the things that I've always been mindful of is that the community at large and the business world continually say, we need to support local, we need to support Australia, we need to have Australian produced products. And a couple of things sprung to mind. The first thing that sprung to mind was I do a little bit of work with Disability Services Australia, DSA. My warehouse lady is employed through DSA. She's a disabled lady, and she's not, she does what she has to do, and it's all good. But I'd been to the DSA offices or their warehouse and their big building in Mascot. And I had seen, when I went, they took me on a little guided tour, I saw that what they were doing, they were packaging the little plastic knives and forks and serviettes for the airlines.
Yes.
And while I was thinking, like, what can I do? I thought, hold on a sec, these people have got to be out of work. I mean, if the airlines aren't flying, they've got all these people over there, and what are they going to be doing? So that's how the whole thing started. I thought, well, how can I utilize this? And speaking to different business people, and fortunately, I love networking, and I try and keep a close net of people around. I never rebuff people, because you never know who you can talk to. As they say in the classics, don't ever burn a bridge, because you never know when you have to go back over that same bridge.
I agree, Roy. It's words of wisdom.
So what took place was I started investigating. One of the items that was in huge demand was hand sanitizer.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, strangely enough, how the whole thing came about was one of the events that I had sponsored. I had given them 500 sets of hand sanitizer. This is before COVID. And this all took place right at that time where the event was cancelled, and they said to me, what shall we do with this hand sanitizer?
Oh.
And I said, well, send it back to me. I'll use it. And when I got it back, I thought, hold on a sec, there's got to be another way over here. All the importing were now all of a sudden, nothing was available. The lead time was 6-8 weeks away, and I started making
or longer, because
correct,
some of them we didn't know how long everyone would be down across the globe.
And I started making some inquiries, and one person led me to the next, and then I discovered one of the distillery owners who serves on one of the governmental boards was telling me that the government is trying to get the distilleries to make hand sanitizer
because of alcohol.
Because of the alcohol. So this guy said to me, look, he's in the process, he's not sure how long. I said, tell me how long will it be before you could get some liquid hand sanitizer, and give me a price. And then I thought, but hold on a sec, where am I going to get bottles from? You can't get bottles anywhere. So I spoke to another one of my contacts, and they said, try this bottle place in Brisbane. And I called up to them, and the guy said, oh, you don't understand. He said, we have got like a couple of million bottles on back order. I said to him, this is what I want to do. I want to bottle Australian-made sanitizer liquid. I want to put it in Australian bottles. I want to put an Australian-made cap on it, and I want to put a label onto it that's made in Australia. I said, but I'm going to do one other thing. I want to get the disabled society to use disabled people to bottle it. He said, "Are you serious?" I said, "I couldn't be more serious." He said to me, "I'm going to jump you straight in front of the queue of our
Oh, wow.
2 million bottles," whatever it was.
So that's the business community coming together.
Correct.
Yep.
And I managed to get the bottles.
So we won't tell all those other people that were waiting for their couple of million backorder bottles that you jumped the queue, Roy.
We certainly won't, but it didn't give me one moment of sleepers at all. And then I got hold of the guys that, the manufacturers that did caps, and they told me the same story.
Right,
and
back order, get a number, stand in line.
I said to them, "Here's my story. And if you can start crying at the same time that you're saying it, it does work."
Yeah.
And I got that over the line. Then I went to DSA and I said to them, just so that I understand correctly, all these people that you had working, on the airlines, what are they doing now? I said, "Well, we're looking for things for them to do. The airlines have stopped ordering." I said, "What about this?" And of course, they were thrilled. They were absolutely thrilled. So that's how the whole story came together. So every single component of this hand sanitizer is made in Australia by Australians for Australians in every aspect.
So, Roy, if your business is out there branding and it's your job to source products for your clients to put branding on, if you had trouble yourself trying to source things, what was a regular person supposed to do in this time frame when the community went nuts over toilet paper? And you still go to the supermarket now and you're looking out the corner of your eye, who is my competition while I try to get, a couple of packets to take home. So you had trouble bringing it all together. How are the rest of us normal people supposed to cope?
Well, exactly that. And that's why, if you're prepared to, remain innovative, and you're prepared to think outside of the box, and you're prepared to look at other opportunities and shake yourself the whole time by saying, what else is there? What else can it be? Why would somebody, we're not sanitizer producers. We are, I'm a branding company. I'm a customer engagement strategist. I help customers with their brands. But this came about and it was so enriching, to go to disability services and watch, these people working, pouring the liquid into the bottles, decanting it, and it was very rewarding.
There's two aspects there. There's that this COVID-19 has impacted everybody right around the world, and people have lost their jobs. And when you do lose your job, you lose a lot of meaning for your life that comes with it. You lose your definition. You don't feel that you can support your family. There's a whole range of mental health issues and challenges that come with that, not to mention isolation and everything else on there. So I can only imagine that the fact that we have a DSA department that deals with work for disabled people to give them meaning to their life, because everybody wants to feel like they're contributing and they have somewhere to go every day. This is what we call a normal life and what we would like to be able to offer. But I also suspect, Roy, that most people that we call business heroes come from a background where they have faced challenges in the past themselves, and they know when to step up, that it's not the end of the world because you've been there already and it doesn't look like that. So tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get to be Roy in out there branding? Because it wasn't a baby step. You used to do other things. What did you used to do?
Well, as you can hear from my accent, I'm an ex-South African.
Didn't pick that up, Roy. Didn't.
You're right. Okay, so my story goes back to quite a number of years ago. When I belonged to a service organization, and I was in my early 20s, and we used to take these children away for weekends, from homes that were broken, alcohol abuse and verbal abuse and every kind of abuse you could think about. And we used to take them away. And we went away one weekend with about 30 kids, all, aged between about 8 and 12, males, girls and boys. And we took them down to this resort And we went for a walk to the beach. You know, our group was about 15 of these of my age, and we had these 30 kids. And this young girl, she must have been 11 or 12, she saw the sea for the very first time.
Wow.
Now, we take this for granted because
Yes.
we see the sea every day of our lives, you know, and we just look at it and, oh, wonderful. I saw the look in her eye when she saw the sea for the first time, and my heart just melted. I just got soft. And I said to myself that day, I said, that is a feeling I want to replicate for the rest of my life, is seeing somebody get a joy that warms my heart. And that's the start of my journey, was that day.
So that's what factors in your vision and your mission for wherever work and work life you do. You want to make such a difference to people's lives.
100 and exactly to a T. And so in my values that I had, when I started in business, when I was in South Africa, I was part of a clothing manufacturing business. I was the sales and marketing person. I transformed this feeling of giving and getting that satisfaction of seeing somebody when they were happy. I transformed that from personal into business. That gave me that formation where it came together. And that's what I strive for each and every day since that day. Tomorrow I'm going to be 63. And this happened when I was 20 odd. And that is 40 years ago.
63?
Tomorrow, yeah.
No.
Look at me. I'm a senior citizen.
You'll be getting your gold opal card soon.
Absolutely. No, but
hang out.
The point
Roy,
I'm making
thank you very much for sharing your story with us and for being another business hero. And SA's loss is our gain. So we are very lucky that we have you and that you've shared your story, not just from your work journey, but also the fact that you didn't just pivot. You took what could have been a very trying circumstance in business where 500 units are returned, and you went, well, hang on a second, this isn't the end of the world because I'm sure I can do something with this. And there are a lot less brave business owners who wouldn't have probably gone to the positive steps that you went.
I want to just add one thing, because actually
Sure.
there's one thing that I didn't mention, is that those 500 units that I got back, I could have sold them.
Yes.
I could have sold them for an absolute fortune. And I chose not to. I chose to hand them out and give them away for free to my customers, to my friends, to family, to organizations. I gave them away to charities. I gave every single one away. I didn't take $1 for it, because the people that it impacted by them having access to hand sanitizer did more good in the community than the couple of dollars I could have made on whatever it was.
And they were like gold. We had a month there that it was like gold. Thank you very much, Roy. And to everybody watching, if you know of a business hero, please share that information with us. You can reach us at news@smea.org.au. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can support other SMEs in this world. Roy, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.
Absolutely.
And tell your friends.
I certainly will.
We'll catch you all next time for another business hero. Thank you very much.